Who is it? Is it me?
No, it is
Huh?
Faye. We're using
Oh,
Faye's background gameplay,
Who, me?
and so you
who
don't
is this
really get to
person?
see very much of the actual gameplay, but it's behind us.
Oh, I'm like
Um,
Me?
see-through. I didn't realize that. My hair
yeah,
is all weird.
yeah. But yeah, go ahead whenever you're ready. Let's
Okay.
get the
t-
rundown.
All right. So what's the name of the game? Phasmophobia. That took me a long time to learn how to pronounce properly. Um, Developed by Kinetic Games. Release year September 2020. This year. It was a PC early access, and it is $13.99 currently available on Steam. Although I think they're coming out in other places pretty soon. Um, what did I like about the game? I liked that it really does feel like an indie game in all the right ways. Like sometimes you get indie games, you're like, oof, this is rough. I can see that's an indie game. That's not always a good uh, word for a game, but in this respect, it's very raw and real, and everything you do feels very deliberate and and um, while making the game not ridiculously difficult just for the sake of making it difficult. I know I've played some horror games where they purposely made the controls difficult because that's what it would be like in real life, and it's to me that was just
Like the
infuriating.
original Resident Evil games.
Uh, that's what they say, but I imagine that's more to do with hardware limitations. But you could be right. There's a game I played. I can't remember the name of it exactly. It was a good horror game besides the horrible controls. Like it was actually a really fascinating story and really good feel to it. But the controls were just so bad that I was just fighting them. Well, this game is simple enough. It took me a little bit to get the controls, but I mean, it's most first person games that you play. It's close to the same controls that you'd use, and the training wasn't great. I didn't feel like that was good, but that really it wasn't important. That's more just to mess around and try some things out, which I appreciate. It wasn't like, and you can quit right away and go right into a real game. But what I really like about this game is that it wasn't really like feeling like a game. It feels like Faye said, you're just being dumb with your friends and going on a ghost hunt, and then it happens to turn out that it's real, and that the ghosts are real and they can kill you. And so everyone who's ever played this game, they first are like, you're excited, they get into it, and then they get really quiet. And that to me is always so fun to hear, to like listen for some people to get really quiet, and you realize they're scared, and you realize you're scared. You make up excuses for why you have to stay in the truck, and why you don't want to go inside the house and why you're leaving, And I don't know, that to me is just really neat because then everyone else always has stories afterwards where they talk about the game and they go, "Did you see this kind of moment?" And the cool thing about it is it's all procedural for the ghost encounters. So it's always the same few maps they have, and they have quite a few for one developer. It's actually pretty surprising, and they're pretty big too. That sometimes you get lost the first few times you play them, but they feel real, like as if it's a house or a high school or an asylum that you just were told to go to that you had ghost sightings. So to me, this game is more than a game. It's more of just a fun experience with your friends. And again, you do need the right people. I've noticed that I play with some people I don't enjoy as much to play with, and it really kind of ruined the experience. People that maybe aren't as immersed, they're not fun to play with, and people that are very robotic about the way they go about it. And I imagine this game will probably get old if they don't keep making it fresh and changing things up to some point where people will just like have the exact guide to beat the game, And that to me is not really the point of the game. You don't play and you're not playing this game to um why does he have bats? Wait, what? Oh, I was like,
It's
okay.
it's Faye's
That's
I
my
stream.
was like,
footage. It's
It's
what?
like
Faye's footage.
he
I was like,
stole
did you
my
really just
fucking
do that for Faye being here? Oh my god. I was like, what?
I saw
Colin's not
your
even playing
face
the game and he's getting
break.
scared.
Well, I was just like, why would you? That's a lot of effort. How did you get the right GIF and the right sound pack? And like, my God, that's a lot
I
of
made
effort.
that sound, so I would have been very impressed.
uh, but yeah, it's a game that's like more of an experience, and I'm really enjoying that experience right now. Like Adam once we played with Adam one time. Jabari and I played Dark Souls 3 with Adam,
Mhm.
and Adam said it's not really a game. It's like going on an adventure with your friends. And that really
Mhm.
stuck with me as like, that's a good game, something that doesn't really feel like a game. Like, I don't play this game for the money because you make money every time you beat, you win, so to speak. I'm not playing for the money. I'm not playing to win. I mean, win or lose, it's still a lot of fun. You know, it's the experience with your friends and going through and getting, you know, spooked basically, and
Right.
then discovering what kind of ghost it is, you know. So, what didn't you like about the game? There are some bugs that need to be fleshed out. They're working on. There are some quality of life adjustments I'd like them to fix. I don't know if they should though, because sometimes I feel like we get what we want, and then it kind of ruins the game in certain ways. You know, like I think there's something important about fumbling a little bit or making it a little bit annoying to get to. You know, like your journal is pulled up in front of your face, but maybe that's intentional because you just need to walk outside before you pull up your journal to put your evidence in. You know, um, there's a bunch of like other little quality of life adjustments. The graphics could be better. You know, but again, you get so immersed so quickly that you kind of forget that. I'd like to see, you know, just more added to the game at this point. That's not really a big criticism because the game just came out as one developer, but
Well,
you
it's
know,
early access too. When you
yeah,
say one
yeah.
developer, is it literally one person
I
or
think
Literally
so.
one
studio?
guy.
I think it
Okay,
is.
wow. Okay, that's impressive.
Yeah,
I mean,
if
like they have a team, but like the actual person who's doing all the coding and stuff like that's one guy.
yeah.
Okay.
So it's incredible what this game what he's done with this game. So I don't really have too many negative things to say about it. Again, it's just quality of life adjustments, and I think a lot of them he knows about. You know, like he has an open Trello page you can look at to see kind of where he's at and what he's working on currently. So, and it seems like he's working on it every day. So that's really cool to see. Um, how's the gameplay? The gameplay is fun. It's a first-person game where you basically have to determine what kind of ghost you're hunting, and you use a bunch of variety of tools that you'd see in like, you know, ghost hunters, like an EMF reader, a spirit box, and they all work, you know, if you find the right kind of ghost. So like the spirit box will speak to you. And the cool part is you have to use your actual voice. You have to have a microphone for this game. I could not understand people who'd want to play this game without a microphone. That would just not be fun at all. The game would not be fun
Is it
without a
even
microphone.
playable without a microphone?
I think it is, but it would just be,
Not really.
I mean, you probably could get everything you'd need. You would just have to wait until your sanity went down every time.
And
You
yeah,
know?
it would just be a slog. Some of the things would be harder to do. You couldn't provoke the ghost or ask the ghost any questions because it has to be audible. And even though there is a push to talk option, your mic is always open to the ghost, which is a
Yeah.
little freaky.
Yeah. Yeah, and the ghost will listen to you for its name. If it hears it, it'll get pissed off, you know? And there's always a different name for each ghost too. It always at the beginning you always are given like this whiteboard that says like here's your optional objectives and here's the name of the ghost and how they respond basically. And so you go through and you have to kind of like look at this whiteboard, and so it's like this almost like this ritual you have to go through each time, and everyone kind of gets on board with it, and everyone kind of talks over one another and says, you know, this is what we're doing, this is the game plan, and everyone goes in and tries to find the ghost. So the first thing you want to do is find the ghost, and then the next thing you want to do is find evidence of what kind of ghost it is. So I mean, it can get bad to like sometimes like demon is a really nasty ghost that's like very aggressive that can kill you pretty quickly. And so if you find out it's a demon, you want to get out of the house quickly, you know, and be done with it. Like the other day we were playing with Adam, I think it was Adam, and we summoned a demon through a Ouija board on accident.
Oh, nice.
By asking questions. So it came out and killed
Smart.
Adam.
Adam died.
Yeah, Adam died. Yeah. And once you die, by the way, you're a ghost, and so you can walk around and like see your teammates. They
And
can't hear you
you can
or see
see the
you.
ghost when it goes on to a hunt.
Can
you can
you
follow it
haunt?
around.
Can you haunt back?
No, they're working on that. That's another thing. I was
see,
like,
that's what
I know
needs to happen.
everyone's like, why can't you do anything as a ghost? Like you've been seeing this ghost haunt things, now you can't do that.
You have literally all of the equipment possible to be able to
Yeah,
interact with your friends since you're a ghost now.
I think that's coming. I think they're going to do it in a very particular way. I trust this developer. He seems like he really understands what he's doing with this game. You know, like he had a direction he wanted to create, and he went with it. And it's something really great. I'm really looking forward to the rest of this game being fleshed out. I'm a little both excited and sad that I'm seeing it so early because I feel like so much more content's going to come out, but it's going to be like in small doses. You know, I can't imagine he's going to get another map anytime soon, you know, or another ghost out, you know, until he gets like a team together. So, how's the art? The art's okay. It's just a generic Unity game, you know. I mean, that's what it is. It's Unity, and it's probably a bunch of prefabs he'd probably just found or made, you know.
Yeah.
Or I probably just found, you know, and bought. I'm guessing. The music, there isn't any. That's not really part of it. The sound design is incredible in this game. It's binaural audio.
Because I'm not subbed to you.
Oh. I didn't know they did that.
Yep.
That's
Also, what the
very
fuck? Not
funny.
sub to me? How rude.
Oh,
So this
sorry.
is awkward. Ooh.
Ooh.
Well,
The sound
Apart
design's incredible in this game. This guy
uh,
went above and beyond with the sound design. He has a bunch of like, not jump scares, but like little like suspenseful, binaural audio, which means like directional audio, not just stereo, but like sounds like it actually has location based, to it. So the sound design is just incredible. Again, if the sound design wasn't on point, this game wouldn't be anywhere it's at. It's really, really relies heavily on its sound design and its immersion with the voice work. So, yeah. So it said, how long did it take it to? How long did it take you? Uh, it's not really one of those kind of games. It's like Left 4 Dead. You kind of just replay the same few missions, but it's always different. So
so then, in which case, how long would like a match take?
that again depends on the map size. So I'm guessing probably 10 minutes to potentially up to 1 to 2 hours
I think
Oh,
potentially.
that the
dang.
longest I've ever had was like an hour and a half, but that's like on one specific map that kind of sucks because
Yeah.
it's so big. Like Colin and I were playing with one or a couple of other people the other day on the asylum, and it literally took us I want to say close to 45 minutes to even find where the ghost was in this building, at which point we had been hunted, which is like the ghost goes into hunt mode when you can die basically, and if it catches you during hunt mode you'll die. And we had been hunted like probably 20 or 30 times before actually even finding the room that the ghost was in, so we could get the evidence to figure out what ghost it was so we could leave.
Nice.
Yeah, that's actually one of my gripes with this game. Yeah, that's a good point. I didn't like the bigger maps. Honestly, I feel like it needs to be houses or small buildings. Like the high school is a good size.
The high school is just big enough. I think that if it were bigger, it would be too much. I think
Yeah.
that the asylum is the size of a map that you need to have more people on.
I don't enjoy the asylum. Yeah, have more people for the asylum. That'd be like a 6 to 8 team, I think. It's only 4 currently, up to 4 max. You can do solo though, missions. But but yeah, I that's one of my gripes with the game is that that's just too big. I just don't think he knew. So would you play a sequel? Yeah, I mean I'm watching this develop like a hawk now. I'd love to see if he comes up with anything different or new because he's obviously very creative.
I mean, being that it's early access right now, I wouldn't expect a sequel, but like certainly the completed version of this game.
Yeah, it's probably a better way.
Andrew actually brings up a good point. The fact that people play this game very differently. Some people go in and want to get the information and get out most of the time because they're scared. Most of the time they're like, I just want to figure out what ghost it is and then I'll leave. And the second that they do, they're like, I don't care about the optional objectives. I just want to peace out.
Yeah.
And some people, like I watched a stream the other day of a group of streamers who all role played the entire time. They like played it as if they were going, they were like, oh, this is your cousin's house, right, or something like that, and they're
Like Ghost Bros Adventures.
and and investigating the stuff like that. And it's just really interesting how differently people react and interact with ghosts, and how if people were doing this in real life, this is probably how they'd act as well.
Could we get like people to RP as like Scooby in the gang?
Oh,
That'd be funny.
probably.
I bet there'll be
There's only
skins for that.
4,
That would be
so,
rad.
But that would be fun. I would do that. I would play that game. But like my biggest takeaway from the game personally is that it is the kind of game that you talk about to people like you were there.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my gosh, we were hunting this ghost the other day and we were pretty sure it was a Yuri or Yurei or whatever the fuck. And it, chased one of us down, or like, right after someone left the house, I saw the door shut and I had to go run into a bathroom, and it was terrifying and it was dark, and it is really quite the immersive experience. And we're not even playing in VR. I can only imagine what it's like in VR.
I'm too scared. I might try it tonight, but I'm so scared. Seriously, this game is terrifying. Overall rating impression, it's It's a 9, maybe a 10. You know, it depends on
Really?
where it goes. It's pretty great. I mean, like, I don't know if that'll last though. I don't know if it's one of those games I'm just be like, that was such a great game, but I'll never play it again. You know, like I feel like Last of Us is kind of like that for me. I played it once, and I don't know if I'll ever play it again. I'm not saying I won't, but like, it's not one of those games you pick up 1,000 times over. You know, like Mario 64, I played hundreds of times. You know,
I've
um,
replayed The Last of Us. I would not replay The Last of Us 2. I thought it was fine, but I have no interest in playing it
right.
again.
Again, that could still be a high ranking game in your mind, but not necessarily a good replayable one. You know, um, so yeah, I don't know if I'm going to want to replay this a lot. Maybe I'll come back to it months later and be like, oh, it's a fresh game, you know, all new, and I don't remember a lot of this. So this is kind of fun all over again. Because I think a big part of the fun is that no one knows anything about this game because it just kind of came out of nowhere, and everyone's just kind of fumbling to figure out how to play, you know, and we're all kind of bad at it, and that's kind of I think it's always interesting. Every time I come into a game, that's like the first 2 weeks of a game is always the most fun when a game first comes on the market because no one really knows anything about it. Like even Breath of the Wild was kind of fun because no one knew anything about it. You could look online and you couldn't find anything, and that was kind of neat. You're kind of just on your own for the first about 2 weeks, you know. So that's what's cool about this game. So I don't know, that number might slip in the future and be like, you know what, it was fun, but it's kind of gimmicky now, and I don't really like it. That might slip, but right now it's pretty high, you know. Is the game worth buying at the current full price? Yeah, I think it is. I think you'll have hours of fun, you know, for the
It's
price it
so
is.
cheap.
I've bought it for multiple people now. I probably spent way too much money on that game, you know, buying it for people. So
Yeah, I might pick it up and play with you guys at some point.
okay, I'm
If we can figure
playing
out
Birthday
tonight,
stream?
and Faye's playing on her birthday. So
You're playing
Birth-
on your birthday.
yeah.
Yeah, so I'm streaming this Tuesday, which is my birthday, the 13th.
I'm
all
streaming
day long.
Tuesday.
I'm streaming 12 hours that day.
Are you streaming all
So
day?
are you streaming all day? If you're
Oh, why
not,
don't you
I'm
guys both
working.
stream together then?
I'm
That'd be
working.
perfect. Why don't you
Well,
stream that night?
true.
The one hold up for me is I need to do Goof Troop this week so I can review it next week.
Oh.
And since Faye, you're coming to town, I'm not gonna be
Yes.
able to stream on Wednesday, so I can't do it Wednesday. So that's kind of out of the question for me. But
Earlier or later in the day, though.
He's literally
maybe?
denying a birthday
that's a big
request.
maybe. That's a
Maybe birthday request if we played with also Adam sibling
And
stream.
yeah, maybe. Yeah, we'll figure it out. We'll talk about it more this week. We'll figure it
He's
out.
saying no.
I'm
Just
not.
a
I'm not
soft
saying no. I'm
on
not
stream
saying
because
no.
I'm like a
I know who
douchebag.
my brother is, Colin.
I'm not saying
I
no,
swear.
but no.
This is like a strong maybe. Like this
Oh, Faye, you gotta
maybe's
hop
been
off.
working out.
I do.
Yeah, buy the game. It's fun. Get it.
Right on. Excellent.
play-
Well, let me get the
I'm playing
gameplay
tonight,
off of here.
so.